Welcome back to Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin here in our Restoration Nation. Today, we are thrilled to bring you one of the iconic Greek Revival homes of the lower Mississippi Valley, Ravenna. Ravenna was built from 1834 to 1836 by William Harris, a city alderman here in Natchez, Mississippi, and a merchant commissioner. It's important to note that this house was inspired by plans drawn originally by famed architect Benjamin Asher. This is not a plantation home. It is a suburban villa. It sits on 3 private acres right in the middle of the city of Natchez proper. And while we can assume that there probably were enslaved workers who worked here on the property, they were not housed in separate properties. They were housed right here in the main house, on the 3rd floor and in the detached kitchen, which no longer stands. Ravenna is a testament to Greek Revival architecture. On its exterior, you see a hierarchy of columns on its double galleries. Starting at the bottom level, you have Doric columns, rising into the 2nd level with Ionic columns. The galleries, in true Greek Revival style, mimic each other front and back. So whether approaching this beautiful home from the front or the rear, you'd be treated to the same glorious view. Let's go in and take a look at some grand Natchez and architectural history. Here we are in the central hall of Ravenna. As you know, as we've discussed before, Greek Revival homes are known for their central hall breezeway, with the front and back entries mirroring one another perfectly, and we can see that here. To our left off the entry, we have the formal parlor, and to the right, we have the informal parlor. The architrave and entablature around each door is the same on every entry here in the bottom floor, and they're also mirrored in the surrounds of the windows. All of these were, of course, hand carved by artisans. It's hard to imagine that kind of artistry today. All of the doors on the main floor have beautiful faux bois finishes, and more than likely, when Ravenna was first built, but I don't know this for sure, the floorboards and stair risers may have had faux marble treatment as well. Nobody panic. This is a Greek Revival home. And as we know, during the much of the colonial, federal, and Greek Revival periods, woodwork inside of homes was painted. So the painted wood treatment you see in this house is as original as it can be. Straight through to the rear of the hall, we have the entrance to the elliptical stair. We'll show you that treat in just a minute. But first, let's take a look at the beautiful original plaster medallions that are featured in the front and back hallway, the double Doric column archway, and then let's step in to the formal parlor. Here we are in the beautiful formal parlor of Ravenna. You'll see again the repeated treatments around the window. In Greek Revival, you have themes repeated in almost every single room that ties the structure together. And here on the mantelpiece, we have Doric columns mimicking those on the front entry and in the front hall. The The pocket doors, which slide open to create a double parlor, perfect for dancing, is surrounded by this great entablature and architrave that once again has column design, but here we see Greek key and dental mold like we had on the front of the house as well. This closet originally would have had a skeleton key and lock. The lock would have been to keep things like tea and sugar, very valuable commodities in 1834, 35, and 36, safe, except for the lady of the house who would have worn the chatelaine and had access to that space. In the dining room of Ravenna, we see the idea of symmetry pictured so beautifully. In Greek Revival design and in Federal design, symmetry was incredibly important. So inside this dining room, which could double as a parlor and would be opened up for dancing and entertaining, we see a mantle with Doric columns again that is identical to the mantle in a formal parlor, and the surround around the pocket door is exactly the same. We have this beautiful French crystal chandelier in the center of the room, faux bois on the door, and we enjoy light from the hand-blown glass windows that are 8/8 throughout the house. Just off the entry to the right is what would have been the family's private parlor. But even though this would have been a private space, the details are still exquisitely executed in this room. Once again, we have a mantelpiece with Doric columns. All of the window surrounds mimic those in the rest of the house. In here, we see a very typical Federal and Greek Revival painting technique, a monochromatic room. This beautiful blue-gray has been applied both to the walls and to all of the woodwork. Above me hangs a converted gasolier, more indicative of the Victorian period, but appropriate in showing how this house would have evolved over time. Off the family parlor, we have the back parlor, which is currently being used as a gaming room. I love that. It does have an ensuite bath, so it could be used as a downstairs bedroom should you need. This room again has the beautiful woodwork surrounds that the rest of the first floor has, and in here we have an incredible marble fireplace surround. Another electrified gasolier decorates the center of this room, and like all the rooms downstairs, we have another locked cupboard. If there has ever been anything that would tempt me to buy a home that is far outside of my financial means, it is this elliptical staircase which traverses all 3 floors of this beautiful home. The view up this staircase has been the same for over 200 years. For 200 years, hands have slid down this handrail, and this is a national treasure. Take a look at Ravenna's elliptical staircase. Here we are on the 2nd floor, Central Hall of Ravenna. Again, even though this space would have been completely private family space, you see beautiful detailing in all of the woodwork that mimics the 1st floor. That's very unusual, even in homes of high style. We have this wonderful Central Hall breeze that would have allowed this 2nd floor to stay cool even on the hottest of southern summer days. Let's take a look at the bedrooms upstairs. Here we are in my favorite bedroom in this beautiful home. It is another gorgeous monochromatic color scheme, but with added trompe-l'oeil effect on the wall. We have an incredible ensuite bath with marble floor and marble bath surround with heated floors. From the center of the room hangs another gorgeous converted gasolier. The fireplace mantle is Greek Revival inspired, but the tiles around the hearth are from the Victorian period. Altogether, a comfortable and glamorous place to spend a cozy night. Another gorgeous bedroom, this one in a monochromatic blush pink with a huge fireplace mantle behind me and another ensuite bath. It's important to note that all of the fireplaces here in Ravenna are working. All of them but one are gas, one is wood burning. Here we are in the main bedroom. I wish I could accurately describe to you the sense of scale of this house. Here we are on the second floor, and we have 11-foot ceilings. The rooms are all enormous, and this main bedroom is no exception. But of most note in this room is this incredible original mantelpiece behind me. All of this would have been hand carved. We see repeated patterns and themes from throughout the house with the Doric columns, the sunbursts. But upon close inspection, you can see some beautiful, tiny incised design, which are almost faded away with time and with paint. Those are also barely visible downstairs in some of the corner blocks of the doors. They're impossible to film, but I promise they're there. But it's another example of continuing themes and obviously one artisan who created most of the decorative elements throughout this house. Now this is a main bathroom. It's the main bathroom of my dreams, and I'm sure it is in yours as well. These beautiful marble floors are heated. You have double his and her vanities, a soaking tub, a standing shower, a toilet closet, and then access to tons of closet storage space. Something you typically don't find in a 200-year-old home is beautifully executed in this space. Off the hallway, we have access to the huge walk-in his and hers closets. And down the hall, double doors onto what was once a sleeping porch, but now doubles as a laundry room and exercise area. Long double galleries on both the front and the back of the house would have been treasured living space during hot southern summers. Ladies and gentlemen both would have used these long verandas to relax and cool off from the heat of the day. The third floor of this incredible mansion, let's call it what it is. This more than likely would have been a living space for the enslaved servants of the home, but now it's been transitioned into an incredible apartment-style living area. Come with me into the main room. Yes, this space is an incredible living space. There's room for a seating area and a sleeping area. But what I love most are these exposed beams, which show some of the mortise, tenon, and pin architecture from the early period of the home. It really exposes the skeleton and lets us see the incredible level of craftsmanship that went into the construction of this property so long ago. The smallest bedroom in this home is still a large bedroom to most of us. Beautiful high ceilings even here on the 3rd floor, and gorgeous exposed beam construction, showing the 1835 treasure that is this beautiful old hardwood. The 3rd floor has this darling bathroom, once again with hex marble flooring, heated, vanity, and shower. We so hope you've enjoyed this tour of this one-of-a-kind Greek Revival masterpiece. We'd like to remind you that we are not the realtors. We are not trying to sell you this home, and we cannot answer any of your questions about the property itself. But we can tell you that the realtor's information is linked in the description below. They're asking $1.779 million for this beautiful, restored home sitting on 3.2 acres, complete with pool and pool house. Would you like to be its next caretaker? Come join us in Natchez.